Seed Money Fund is a project generously supported by the Pittsburgh Foundation, led by Pittsburgh-based artist Jessica Gaynell Moss, Office for Public Art Executive Director Sally Ann Clues, and Office for Public Art Associate Director Divya Rao Heffley.
The Seed Money Fund believes in fair compensation for time, energy, and effort spent. We believe that the power of an individual artist with a good idea, regardless of their budget, can yield results that ultimately help entire communities flourish. We value the process over the product and believe that these early stage investments will nurture the growth of our artists and our communities. Our artists are encouraged to research, experiment, fail, iterate, and try again. We trust artists to imagine new worlds and create new tools that better redistribute wealth, create access, and build more generative, inclusive resources within our own communities.
The Seed Money came out or emerged from a conversation that OPA, particularly myself and Celeste Smith, who was then with the Pittsburgh Foundation, were having about the need for more opportunity for artists, particularly Black artists, to have opportunities to work in the public realm. And essentially, because of our strong working relationship we had, we were given I wouldn't say fully free reign, but pretty broad brushstrokes of using the funds from the Pittsburgh Foundation to support Black artists on their first projects in public space and in the public realm. Since it was specifically to support Black artists, we were going to engage a Black arts administrator to design and implement the project. Once we had secured the funds, we immediately identified Jessica Moss as a really excellent potential project director, designer of the program, and implementer. We have worked with Jessica as an arts administrator on a number of projects, and are also very aware of the public realm projects that she's worked on over the years too.
My name is Jessica Moss. I'm an artist, a curator, and an arts worker, and I am the igniter behind the Seed Money Fund. I've been working with the team at the Office for Public Art for a couple of years on a number of different projects. Simultaneously, I was also working in philanthropy. And I am sure that over time, I had expressed a lot of my frustrations working in philanthropy with this team. And nothing that is unique to this specific environment in Pittsburgh, but just across the field in philanthropy, right? Like, we are seeing people being taken advantage of, seeing people work and not being compensated. We are seeing not of enough people who look like us be able to even have a seat at the table or be part of the conversations. Conversely, we also know that the people who are managing and leading these programs also don't look like us. So they don't have the same kinds of understanding or cultural competency about why we might be doing the types of work that we're doing or how we got to the situations that we are situated in. And so after many conversations with Sally Ann and Divya over at the Office for Public Art, it became an idea for how we could start a rapid release fund where we could get funding support directly to local Pittsburgh-based artists in an expedited manner.
How does investing in individual artists align with our understanding of nurturing relationships and fostering growth within our community garden? Furthermore, how does the concept that scale does not equate to impact resonate in this context, emphasizing the importance of tailoring support to the unique needs of each artist?
My name is Bonita Lee Penn. I am 66 years old, and what I am is a poet, but that's more into like multimedia poet, performance poetry.
So my name is Marcus Redd. I'm 39 years old. I'm a multimedia artist and independent scholar working across media such as film, sculpture, public art, and writing.
I'm Sakani Burton. I'm 27, and I'm a graphic designer and a photographer and a dog dad and a producer a little bit of everything.
My name is Zil Eva. I'm 26 years old. My artistic practice is multifaceted, so I actually call myself a visual explorer. So I work in like, photography, curation, sculpture, installation, directing, gardening. So yeah, anything that I can do with my hands, I'm doing it.
With Seed Money, we chose to throw out the script because we had a lot of experience seeing how disadvantaged a lot of artists are in the art funding process. Artists often have to fight against odds that they shouldn't have to fight against just to get funded. Often they are not paid to put together a proposal, so they're not being paid for their labor. Often they have to come with a fully fleshed proposal. Meanwhile, they may never have had a chance to talk this through with anybody. Now, when you add to that an artist who's never before worked in public art, it gets even harder because oftentimes artists don't know what's possible. They may not be aware that there are certain licenses and permits and permissions that they need, how long it might take, what's the budget like. So already the cards are stacked against artists who have never worked in public art before. Now, when you also add to that Black artists who have historically been marginalized and disadvantaged and purposefully kept out of public art processes, the obstacles can be insurmountable. And so looking at all of that, Office for Public Art, we wanted to think about a process that would make it easier for Black artists who have never before worked in the field of public art.
And Jessica ended up like telling me about like the project and the program, and I was like, oh well, this is interesting. I'm not really one that's done like public art before, so I was like, hey, like this might be an opportunity to try out a new idea or at least gain some new skills to be able to do something different.
When we talk about the field, arts in general, or even just a sphere of it, public art, again, there are so few people who look like us in this realm. How could we use this as an opportunity to springboard more young Black artists directly into the public art realm? And so Seed Money was an opportunity not for folks to fill out an application, but be nominated from other Black artists who had done public art projects in Pittsburgh. So they could say, you know, I worked with this young artist, and although they've never had this experience or given this opportunity, I believe in them and their work, and I think that they should have this position.
How can we liken investing in relationships to the act of planting seeds, nurturing them as they grow, and eventually harvesting the fruits of our labor? How do these connections evolve and change over time, and what importance lies in cultivating and maintaining strong bonds within our community?
Well, a friend of mine who I've, Dr. Kendra Ross, who I've been in several groups with, and she knows I'm a poet, and she knows I'm passionate, and she knows that I was trying to find ways to get my stuff out there to the public, other than books. And she nominated me to the Seed Fund.
I'm definitely averse to like doing the grant thing because it's like it can get really personal. You feel what I'm saying? Especially if your work is. I mean, when is the work really not personal to you? You feel what I'm saying? But so it definitely put some confidence in me because like if my man's is willing to say, oh yeah, you can definitely give this man some money and he'll use it for good, that feels good enough. You feel what I'm saying? So it did make me a little bit more confident. I think eventually I probably had to get to this point, but that definitely did make me feel, like I was capable for sure.
I was nominated to apply for the Seed Money Fund, and as soon as I did, I was very excited by the opportunity because I know anything associated with Jessica Moss is going to be done at a very high level with a lot of professionalism. So I was happy to be a part of it and to put forward an application. 10
artists were awarded as Seed Money grantees. To be awarded as a grantee means that you just get money. There's no responsibility. There's no ask required of you.
The first call was like they asked us like, oh, what do you want to do with this money? And then like you told them about it. Then we met again. And they're like, all right, so did you research like how you're going to do that? And then at the end, like because it was it was an unrestricted grant, they were like, you could have did anything with it. You feel what I'm saying? They're like, but whatever you did, we're happy that you did it.
It was nice to have that like flexibility to be like, hey, like yes, I am an artist, but also I need to pay my bills first before I can make art.
However, there were many opportunities for you to be engaged and to help further your creative and professional practice. So, for example, as a part of your award, you were provided with a connection to a broad network of other Black artist professionals and workers nationally.
How does care and support manifest in philanthropy? What actions and initiatives can be likened to watering and nurturing these seeds of change? And how do these efforts contribute to the flourishing of our community garden?
Now, this was so different from the support I've received from the Pittsburgh area in a long time. They believed in my project. They were very passionate about my project. And they were really interested in making sure that I had the support that I needed to do like the groundwork, for the project. So, and anything I would ask them, they would get back to me. They would have resources for me. If I was having a challenge, they were there. They were very helpful. And they were more excited than me sometimes about the project.
You were compensated for every meeting, event, workshop, lecture, anything you attended that had to do with seed money. We made sure to compensate every single participant with a just and livable award. There were also office hours that were provided. So if you had a question about anything, be it taxes, be it about an artist statement, how to properly take a headshot, these standing office hours were available to you to have access to professionals and experts across the field who you could ask your questions to.
In cultivating a community where support flows freely, how can we transcend hierarchy and ego to foster an environment built on trust and care? What actions and attitudes can we adopt to ensure that every individual feels valued and empowered, contributing to a collective ecosystem where everyone's growth and well-being are nurtured?
You were also able and invited to participate in what we call the anti-panel. So something that we know in working in philanthropy is that there are systems to bar access. One of these systems that we know that is often used is a panel. And panels are usually constructed of a number of individuals who are deemed experts to review the proposals as they come in. This system is often flawed. So as a way to dismantle that and deconstruct it, we've created an anti-panel. And the anti-panel is not about deconstructing or revising your proposal, but more about listening and getting to know who you are, why you are the way you are, and how we can work together to make your proposal the strongest that it can be. All of our anti-panelists are also compensated for the work. And we were really strategic in choosing who the anti-panelists were, thinking about specifically who our seed money awardees are and what they were interested in. What individuals could be paired with them for one-on-one mentorship through the anti-panel so that they could have that direct connection, but also be in a larger group and hear multiple perspectives.
As someone at the beginning of my career, having someone think that my ideas are important, my projects are important, and really Jessica was helping me see things that levels of importance of the work that I didn't even see. I mean, she was always emphasizing to me the importance of community, of Black history, Black art history, Black collecting history, and the need to really preserve our story. And through having those conversations, I realized, this is a project that needs to be done, and this is a project that I can do. So I think it was really the brilliance of this program to provide a space for people to take a leap into the unknown, to pursue a passion project that might not have been done otherwise, and to provide a supportive framework, a cohort to provide feedback and to go along the journey with.
I feel quite like like positive. Like, who wouldn't give me like $50,000 to do this? It's like when I went out and I spoke to these people who have done things, big things, and when I told them about my project, I'm thinking like this little old thing, they probably said, what is this little poem gonna do for somebody? But then when I explained to them my vision, they were like, yeah, that will work. We've never seen anything like that. That would be something really nice, And so that gave me the confidence. I mean, I already knew that it was a good project myself. But, what about everybody else?
And we want you to have this comfort and this familiarity to do this, because often artists aren't given that space, especially artists of color, especially Black artists. And there's so much pressure to be perfect that artists aren't given the chance to iterate and try again and refine until they find what they actually want to do.
I'm so less interested in your successes and so much more interested in your failures, because your failures ultimately open up new doors. And folks are so scared of failure. They're so scared of failing because we have continuously failed, and it feels like there's no room for growth. But truly what failure does is it is an igniter. It's the fuel.
How can we effectively measure and celebrate the early signs of impact, particularly noting instances where grantees have garnered additional funding and opportunities as a result of their participation?
One of the things that I do think is important to address is the idea that, again, this is not only a pilot for the artists who had the opportunity to essentially pilot and pitch an idea, receive feedback on it, and then in several cases, these projects have become bigger and gone beyond the boundaries of what seed money was supported. So I do know that I think a couple of artists have received additional funds or gotten other opportunities because of the groundwork that they're able to do with the seed money funding, which is very much the intention. We're trying to till the soil and provide some support for people so that they can grow their practice.
The blessings and the repercussions and the fruit have already started to make themselves apparent. Meeting other artists, getting more deeply rooted in the art scene in Pittsburgh has already led to other major projects and other major collaborations, and I'm looking forward to seeing what else can emerge.
So how could we use this as an opportunity to dismantle everything philanthropy was before and really ask questions about what our community needed, and then see if philanthropy could be the tool to actually answer some of those questions?